Welcome, everybody, to the 48th episode or the 48th live stream of the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 bare bones configuration series, where we're going out and configuring Dynamics 365 from the ground up. So we're working through this, and we've gone through a lot of the already. And what we're doing today is we're going to actually finish the last uh, product information management section. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just spend a little bit of time on the change management, which is not going to be the enterprise change management. It's going to be a simpler version. And we're going to configure some change management cases that you can go out and use. So this is this should be a short session, because what I want to do is in the next session, which is going to be the next session, whenever you watch it, whether it's live or recorded, then what we're going to do is we're going to start on the inventory management. So we've got all the products set up, and the next step is to go out and create some inventory. So we're going to be creating storage locations and all of the inventory sort of components, which is even more fun than setting up products in the system. So what we're going to do is let's swap over. And for those of you that aren't familiar, then what we're doing is we're going out and we're setting up all of this, all of our configuration here within the lab environment. So this is a Dynamics 365 environment. It's actually 10.0.43, so there should be a new version coming out shortly. But it's good enough for us. And what we've done is we started off with a blank system, and you can do this. You can just go to Lifecycle Services while it's available and download the virtual machine, or we can actually get you an environment like this if you want to work through the setup. And we've been working through this. And if I go out and if I look at my product information management, then we can go out and we can see all of our released products that we've got, that we've been configuring in the system and sort of working through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work through the sixth module of the product information management section, where we're going to sort of show you a simple version of change management. So this is the legacy version of the change management. And the reason something is annoying me, because my image was overlaying on the item. So what this is going to do is this is going to allow you to create change requests, but it's not engineering change management, which requires a completely new development legal entity. And maybe after we've gone through all of these setups, then we'll look at the engineering change management and how to configure that in the system. So there's not a lot that we need to do here, but the guides that we've got here are the individual guides. If, for example, you wanted to go out and work through the complete guides, and let me just pull this over and go back to the video, then keep in mind what I'm working through is I'm working through this guide. So this is the supply chain guide. I've already been working through the finance guide, and this has got all of the instructions that we're going to be working through in this session, or for supply chain management. So just a little bit of a plug for the book. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it from adnd365.com/start. So with that said, let's go back to the guide. And what we're going to do is we're going to move through in the change management. So since this is a simple change management, then we actually manage the change management through cases. And what we want to do is we want to go out and create a case. And I can't remember whether we've set up cases in some of the earlier scenarios or not, but this is just going to be a different type of case that we've got in the system. I love cases because there's sort of like a jack of all trades for going out and managing processes, and it's really interesting to go out and create them. So what we're going to do is we're going to work through this, and we're going to create these this change management case. So I'm going to return back to the server, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to the cases, or actually we're going to go to a case category. And we can get through this through the organization administration. There's also some other areas that we can get to. If I'm going through the menu to find this, but if we go over to the organization administration and then go to, let's go into here and then go to cases and case categories, then it'll get us actually to the same place. So we've got our case category hierarchy, and this is empty right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new category. And this is going to be a, this is going to be a product change request. And I'm just getting the category here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this is a product change category in here. And what we can do is we can specify a lot of information that's in here. But all we really need to do is to go out and say that this is the type of this is going to be a product change. So these we may go out and look at some of these later on, but what we can do is we can have different case categories for sales and for purchasing, and we could have help desk tickets, and we could have all of these things. But what we want is we just want the change here. Notice also that we've got a corrective action case now, which is one of the new modules that's been added to the system. So we can go out and save that. Now, also what we can do is this, when I go out and change this to be a product change request, then what we're going to see is we're going to see that there's a number of different validation rules that are here. So what this is doing is we can say that I want to enable or disable this for different product statuses that maybe we've got in the system. So for example, where a product is missing associated items for the case, or for routes that need approval and so forth. So we can change some of these validation rules and also say whether this is an error or warning within the system, or is it going to give, or just informational, depending on how we want it. But we're just going to create this as a standard case. And also what we can do is we can track the changes to this if we want to. So I can go out and specify when a log when a case status changes if we want to. But in this case, I'm just going to leave this how this is, and we're not going to have any processes that are associated with it. These processes are sort of like mini workflows, so we can go out and manage in the system. So we've gone out and created that. So now what we can do is we can go out and we can look at this in action. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and create a product change request, and we're going to look at how this works in the system. And we may browse around into some other areas as well. So let's go back to the server, and let's go directly back here. So what I wanted, the reason why I created that product change case is that I could now go out and I can go into the product information management, and I could go to my release products. And I can select any of these items. So, for example, let's work with the backpack because it's got an icon associated with it. So now that we've got the, let me go. So let's look here. And let me do a search here. Okay. So, and again, I'm going out and I'm using the menu search to find these cases. So what we can do is we can go out and we can find the product change area within the engineering area. So what I was trying to do is sometimes these things sort of hide away in the system because, as you can see, there's a lot of items here in the table. So I just went out and I did a quick search, and I went out and I could go out and create a case that's associated with this. So now that I can create this case, then what I can do is I can go out and I can select these the case category that I had here in the system. So I can go out and say that Gritter Iron Fist is creating the case here, and the case category is going to be a product change. And then what we can do is we can say we need to review the backpack. And then also what we can do is we can go out and we can choose the priority and also the parent case. Now we don't have any priorities. So what we can do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say urgent. High. And I'm going to go medium, priority, and then low. Okay, and let me just look. Okay, so what we've got is we've got some priorities here, and I just added these in. And now what I can do is I can say that this is from Gritter, and this is a high priority. It's not an urgent priority. And then also what we can do is we can go out and we can create cases based off the parent items that are in here as well. But this is a new case that's in the system. So we're going to go out and just create that. So now we've got our case that we created for Gritter Iron Fist, and we can go out and we can look at more information here. So we can see who the primary contact is, what department this is associated with. We can also go out and look at the association. So notice here that this is already associated with the backpack, the item, and the product. But if, for example, this was requested by a customer, then I could go out and I could add an item here, and I could say that this case is associated with a customer, and maybe this is the Miss Desura is requesting this change, and then now we've got this this change request specified there. Now, the interesting thing is if I go out and move over to the customer account, then I think that if we go out to the general tab and look at the cases for this account, then we'll notice that there's a product change request cases showing up for this customer as well. So this is why I like cases sort of like as a simple mechanism for tracking all of these updates, in that we can go out and we can link these throughout the system if we want to. And say, for example, if there was a bad batch of products being purchased, then we could link it to a purchase order as well and do a number of other things. Now, also what we can do is we can go out and we can say that we can change the status to be in process. So now we've got sort of like change tracking around this. And if I go back and if I look at all of the cases that I've got for this item, then I can see this is in process. Also, if I want to go out and if I go into the common area and look at all the cases, then what we're going to see is we're going to see all of the cases regardless of the case category that's in the system. And then also if I want to go out and do some other things, for example, if I want to go back to the case categories and go for the product change and create a new item, so what I can do is let's delete that. What I want to do is I want to create a new one, price change. Let's save that again. And what this is going to do now is this is going to give me another sort of mechanism or another change category that I can track against my product. So I could go out and I could look at my product information. I could go to my release products. And then I could go to the scroll copying. And then I could go to the engineering and I could create a case here. And this could come from, let's keep that with Greta. And we could change this category to be a pricing change. And then I could say need to increase the hourly and then make this let's make this an urgent change here because maybe we're losing money on the scroll copying within the system. So now we've got a different type of case category here. And then again, if we go back and look at the cases, then what we can see is we've got some other items here. Now I could also go out and I could insert some columns. And let's see, I could add in the case category. And let's just move this. Grab this here, move this to the front. And now we can see that we've got a product change and a pricing change category within the system. So these are just simple mechanisms that you can use to go out and track the changes that are required for the product and add a little bit of control into the product management. Now, this is not engineering change management. There's a whole lot more around the engineering change management that needs to be put in place if you want to use that functionality. But and what we did here is just create a little bit of a change. So this is the last module, as I said, in the product setup sort of section that we're going to go through. What we're going to do is in the next set of live streams, what we're going to do is we're going to change gears and we're going to go into the inventory management and start working out how we want to store this product, inventory it, we're going to go into costing of some of the products as well, and we're going to do a lot of configuration of the system. So if you stick around, then we're going to go further and further into the product setup with this next section. If you have any questions, then don't hesitate to contact me. You can do that on LinkedIn, you can do it on Facebook, you can do it on YouTube. If you like this and like it, every little bit helps. And if you have any questions, or if you want to support the project, then you can go to the patreon.com/ADND365 site. And if you want any of these guides that I'm working through, then you can go to adnd365.com/start. You can actually get these guides, and you could do this yourself and set this up. So just a little bit of a support for this project, this grassroots project, which we're running with, is always appreciated. So again, I'll see you on the next live stream, where again we're starting on the inventory management, which means we've only got 3 more modules left in the system, which is inventory management, sales, and purchasing. So I'll stop here and let you all get back to whatever you're doing.